Good morning, everybody. Sorry if anyone was waiting for the stream for a few days now. I've been moving around the time slot a little bit because mostly just either had stuff going on or well, yesterday morning I was not feeling the best. Bit of a sore throat. Figured I'd give myself a day to recover. Still a bit crackly, but it should be alright. I have been working on these Auslanders. For Old World, these are the Highland mini sculpts, a little bit freehanding on the banner there. I'm not quite done yet, just him with a wash. But I won't be working on them tonight. I say tonight like it's not very early where I am. What I'll be working on this morning, rather, is some of these dudes. I did him with a quick rattle can prime, but I realized it's a bit splotchy, so what I'm going to do is just go over the whole thing with a thinned down layer of Vallejo Black and just make sure we're working from a solid black base coat. Don't want any of that messy, ugly, sort of like unprimed areas sticking through. Particularly was like one spot on the main guy, but by doing this you also give yourself a lot more standardization amongst the squad, so might as well. Makes it easier to clean up also if we need to glaze back in some black. If we end up going a little bit too doing a bit too much highlight. I think I am going to do it's like a quick little dry brush thing on these fellas. I'm always tempted, like every project of Templars now, to try and do some non-metallic metal, but I think I'll say that for the characters. I think that's probably gonna be the play here. So I'm just hitting everything with an all-over thinned down coat of this great Vallejo Black. Might need to get some more on my palette though. Come on. I'm almost out. Good thing I'm pretty sure I have another bottle in the drawer below me. So, how is everybody doing this fine morning? Weather by me is actually quite nice. We had some rain over the weekend, but now it's doing pretty good. Went on a short walk with my dog, and that was very enjoyable, to be honest. So let me just really quickly get rid of this message. I'm gonna put this fella in the vortex for a little while. The agitation is a good job of getting that last little bit of paint. Let me just lower the volume on my end really quick, and actually, I'll even lower it for you guys also. Alright, that should be good. The levels there were not really working out for me. Hope everybody is having a good morning, though. Let me know if what you are working on, hobby-wise or in general. I'm sure a lot of people are, at least the Americans here, gonna be at work now, so hope that's treating you well. I say as I get black paint all over my hands like a child. Just Nold, what's up? When's your stream happening? I was gonna stream in the I planned not to stream in the afternoon. I ended up not being able to make the morning because I assumed you had your stuff going on. Next week, okay, fine. I feel like you've been talking about this first stream forever now. You've got my expectations very high. You best not disappoint. Yeah, I saw. Nice dogs. Cool canine creatures. I'm just doing a bit of a introductory step and just making sure all my armor is totally black here. I can imagine, yeah. My current dog is also a shedder, which and doesn't help that he's like completely white. Not completely, but he has like he has a very short but like stiff hairs. But I assume a husky Shet mix that's gonna like be big old clumps of fur everywhere, which is obviously gonna be quite a bit worse than what I'm dealing with. So what, are you just leaving them while you're at work? Or actually, no. Of course, don't tell me if you don't want to. But now remembering that you might work from home, right? In which case, super nice because you get to dog sit and do your job. Now I'm at their house. Gotcha. But you're still like working, right? Oh, big dumb guy gives me puppy dog eyes or Emily, no idea what he wants. They do that. Like, I don't think my dog knows what he wants half the time when he begs. If it's like food or something, sure, but sometimes he's just like needy. He just like comes over and starts like asking for something. My dude. Alright. These are gonna need a second. I'm also gonna need a bit of paper towel because I am kind of an idiot. You know what? Let me just put some paper towel down now so I don't further mess up this already messed up mat I have. I'm gonna need this either way for dry brushing. You know, I do have a nice little dry brushing palette here. We can do a combination of the two. I do kind of want to make a bigger one pretty soon. Mainly just because they're easy to make and just like that's like a cool thing to have around. Tomorrow you gotta go in for a bit. I see. You're gonna leave those dogs all alone. Let them run amok, let them wreak havoc. You're gonna leave for 5 minutes, they're gonna be sticking utensils in the sockets. I think my other grays are over here, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. But can't be dry brushing if the mall's still wet, so we're gonna have to wait for these to get completely dry. They also have all my favorite unhealthy food here too. Aw, shucks. And here I was betting on the Swole Geno arc. Maybe we can start bloat maxing. Hello, just passing through. How are you doing this fine morning, or whatever it is? Funny how you show up on my feed. I'm very new to Warhammer. Well, that's... it is a fun hobby, and it is one that a lot of people seem to be getting into as of late. Am I right in saying that like the streamer guy Asmongold, I think, recently got into also? Which I know he's like a kind of controversial figure, but I think I saw that on Instagram recently. But yeah, I guess when you start getting into Warhammer, there's various aspects to the hobby. Are you like doing the hobby in terms of like the modeling, the painting? Are you getting into lore? Are you doing video games? What are you up to? Think IG Reels. I saw Secret Level and got hooked. Gotcha. Yeah. They have been putting out a lot of content in that vein. Do you have like any favorite factions? Anyone in particular? I'm working on some Space Marines here. Really not much to see. This is just a black mini, but still. Different faves depending on what you ask. That's a enigmatic way of putting that. Different faves, huh? So like, do you have a favorite faction? Are you more like Imperium? Do you like Chaos, Xenos? You like the look of Chaos? Hold up. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm also looking for a sorcerer that I came up a while ago, but I can't find him. Oh, wait, maybe over here. I have some Chaos Space Marines pretty big army of them, actually, a little bit more than 2,000 points. Homebrew color scheme, but they constantly get identified as either Alpha Legion or Night Lords. But just blue, silver, and some teal accents. There are some good, like, budget options. Obviously, 3D printing is the big one. I wouldn't even recommend you go buy a 3D printer. There are many great services, including, I'm sure Nold could tell you about Trainwreck 3D, which is his service. Who else is there? Randomly encountered a stream. I barely know a thing about Warhammer stuff, but I do like salamanders because of the color scheme. You know what? That is a really good choice. Salamanders are super cool. I know a lot of people do like their lore because they are somewhat more personable than most Space Marines. They're not just walking killing machines. What was it? I stopped at Warhammer store in Jersey. The guy said 20k points of an episode facilities is not even that. It's a flex. Don't get me wrong. It's a huge flex, but you know, they're a quite elite army. Like I knew a guy who had like 5,000-ish points, which is a lot, obviously, but it like he could keep it all in one carrying case. It was not like a massive amount for a Warhammer army. What I will say about salamanders though is, yeah, they are quite a good scheme, and they have like a lot of like personalization that you can do. In terms of like getting very unique. That's what I like about Space Marines is when they don't just, these guys are very boring. Sorry about that. But I have quite a few like more weird looking Templar guys. Like this apothecary with a chainsword. This dude with some like Imperial Fist stuff, and he has like the skin of a saint wrapped around his what do you call it, like a flagpole there. So when you talk about points, the game, the actual like tabletop game, is every unit has a points cost, and you have a budget. So the full-sized game, the one that like most tournaments will play, is 2,000 points. That's what people consider a quote-unquote full army. Yep, yeah. So basically, it's a way of saying, even if you're like from a modeling point of view, saying like 2,000 points gives you a rough approximation of like how many models and like what eliteness the models are at. I don't know if that's a good way of explaining it, but yeah, basically like how big of an army. Warhammer players will often use points, the in-game points, as a way of codifying that and communicating that with each other. Like I have, I could pull up. I have everything on the Google Sheets. Airbrushing or airbrush painting Gundam. I want to try doing something new. Yeah, it's a very different hobby. What I will say, I don't know what region you're in. Reach out to some of the local community, right? There's lots of hobby stores that do pancakes. My hobby store does that. For example, we have a dedicated hobby night. If you have a GW store, I believe, I've never been to a GW store. I think maybe Nold can say something about this. I believe they also do a painting thing at the store, where they'll go through your first miniature, they'll teach you some basics. They'll probably try and sell you some stuff, obviously, their store. But that might be something that you might want to take advantage of. It might be hard for me to get started on getting models of any kind, since Warhammer isn't big in my country, and I would probably have to rely on shipping international or something. Yeah, that is an issue. I was gonna say 3D printing is a thing, but obviously that's availability, right? You might not even have that in where you're from. So the Warhammer stores, the official ones, if you have one near you, they have a pancake. If you don't, obviously it might be a little bit more difficult. But there's many ways to engage with the hobby, right? There's cool games. They do like lore and books and stuff, if that's more what you're into. Modeling also isn't for everybody, but you know, I personally love the modeling aspect of it. I would 100% try that out. Yeah, we only have game stores here. Yeah, then that might be a little bit of an issue. But I mean, yeah, like I wouldn't even get caught up in like the official models. I think it maybe if you can even find like unofficial 3D printing stuff, like that might be. You want to read the book so bad? There are. I'm not gonna post them here, right? Piracy is bad, okay, but yeah. What Nold says, you know, there are alternatives you can use to find the books if you want to read them. Also, there's like these things called codices, which are like ostensibly rule books, but you can typically find the old ones for very cheap if you have some. For me, it's like going to garage sales and stuff, but sometimes you can find them around, and they also have quite a bit of lore. So if you also find sources for those, that might be a cool thing to look at. I consider myself an artist. When I first got Warhammer and found it's a tabletop first, I really wanted to get some. We'll sail the seas if I have money. Well, that's the thing about sailing the seas, right? If you have the internet, you can typically find sources for stuff. I'm not gonna give you a link, but it's kind of easy to find. All right. Let me see if any of these are actually dry, so I can get started here. Because I'm gonna do something called dry brushing, which means what sounds like sort of with like almost like a makeup brush, running the brush alongside the surface. But when we do that, the model itself and the brush need to be completely dry, which they're currently not, so I might need to give it a minute. I think I only got to like, yeah, I mean, I think it's best not to try and like digest everything. I think it's best to find what parts of the setting you like. Right, I think that's where you want to be at. You don't necessarily want to try and be an expert on everything all the time. Just figure out what you personally vibe with. If there's like a certain faction, or if there's a certain what kind of paint do I use? I use a little bit of many companies. So far, I've just used Vallejo Monocolor Black. This is a very old bottle, but this is probably one of my favorite paints. But as someone who lives in a place where I have very wide availability, I use a little bit of different brands. Like I really like Pro Acryl paint. I really like AK Interactive paints. Right? There's like lots of mini painting brands, and most of them are pretty good. There's also the official Games Workshop paints. I actually have a little bit of one color here. I don't really use these too much. They're not my favorite, and they're also kind of expensive. They're like the company that makes Warhammer also makes paints for them, and they're kind of like overpriced for what they are, in my opinion. Sorry about that noise and the camera shake. I was using a vortex mixture to shake up my paint. Do you think watered down acrylics would work if I work in layers? Yeah, absolutely. Let me know like what brand of acrylics you're using. So there are cheap like water-based acrylic paints that you can find, and they work all right. A lot of over the past 20-ish years, there's been a lot of like development in making like higher quality miniature paints, and they don't clog up as much detail and are a little bit easier to work with and have better coverage. The thing about Warhammer is you need like a high pigment count when you're painting. Jesus Christ, when you're painting your minis. Sometimes the like craft store acrylics might not have that. Mr. Color and Tamiya paints. I have not. I know those are huge in Gundam. I know some people who use them in Warhammer applications. I don't. I would like to experiment with them in the future. I like to do, you know, many little projects and test out new stuff. JP, I think that's just passing through. I think he's asking you. I used to use... They would be good for miniatures. It's just a different style of painting and different applications. Like you can definitely experiment with them, but that's not like, I guess, like the orthodox of like Warhammer painting is not generally you'll see those used as like a specialty paint, or if someone's going for a very certain effect. I know apparently the Tamiya Clear Red is very popular as like for blood effects. That I've seen people use it for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix a little bit of a medium gray and a little bit of like a dark blue gray on my palette. I'm gonna mix those two together, get the tone I want. It's a little bit too blue for my liking, so I'm gonna get some more of that basic gray in there. Just want a hit of the blue, and then wipe a lot of it off here, and then the remainder I'm going to get my dry brushing palette I made of some old sprue and some cardboard. I'm just going to gradually get the rest off of there until it's and then I'm just sort of looking to see how it covers, what my opacity is here, until I get where I want to be. Ooh, chat's really blown up tonight. Why do I keep saying tonight like it's not 10 a.m. in the morning for me? From the Philippines, very nice. I have one of my D&D groups. Currently, it's made out of, there's 5 of us. Sorry, there's me plus 5 other players. 3 of them are Filipino Americans. Like, this is not even like planned. They didn't even know each other beforehand. It just, I was doing recruitment. Sea Country. Fellow Seedling. It's mad expensive here. Yeah, do not buy Games Workshop paint. Get other acrylic craft paints. Ones that are made for miniature paint will typically have higher pigment counts, which is good. Newbie friendly. So I really do need to make a Discord at some point. I'll probably be doing so relatively shortly. If you subscribe and you like follow along, I'll probably have one pretty soon. I am part of a couple others. There's but they're also like Warhammer mini painting channels. There's Faceplant and Grave Warden, who are friends of mine. I could post links to them. They're usually pretty newbie friendly also. I'm sure there's bigger ones. I just don't use. I don't really use Discord to go into the bigger channels, right? I'm usually in there. I'm in Discord to talk with my friends, basically. I mean, yeah, fair. I have a similar problem where a lot of my, like, closest friends are kind of just, like, normal guys. They're not, like, into D&D or Warhammer or anything like that. I can imagine. I think a lot of us are like, oh, man, this stuff is so cool. Let me blog to you about it. And then turns out no one cares. I think we've all had that experience. Mel never talks to me. I literally was DMing you yesterday. In terms of people I talk to that I don't see on a daily face-to-face basis, you're up there, Gino. Unfortunately, this guy is still kind of wet, but I thought it made for a really bad stream, me just talking through the whole thing, so I'm just doing my best to get some of the highlights on here. But you can also go to my channel and look through the shorts. I try and upload most things I paint onto there now. So if you want to get a sense of like some of my other painting projects. I love that. I did in fact find some parchment paper in the kitchen, so some green got on the guy. The painting area here is so bad. Yeah, I mean, don't mess up someone's house. Are there models of the Sisters of Battle? Yeah, there are lots of models for the Sisters of Battle. I actually have one of their tanks I just built. This clear stained glass piece is currently loose. But yeah, this is the Sisters of Battle Immolator, which is like half transport, half like fire tank. Which is not yet painted. This is gonna be one of my next projects. I'm gonna do an Inquisition Witch Hunters project. Yeah, Sisters of Battle have some insanely cool miniatures. I don't know how far you are from Quazon. Very far. I think Gino tried to hook you up with some Warhammer goodies. I've never been west of Chicago. Do not yeah, so like do not ask me what's popping in Asia because I have no clue. Did my music stop? No, it's still on. Let me skip ahead. There we go. I think Games Workshop has because they come out with a quarterly funding thing that I do look at occasionally because I am interested in the business aspect of things. And one of their big things is to bring more stores to Asia. And that seems all across the place. I know they're doing some in Southeast Asia, they're doing some in China, some in... Actually, what are they doing in China? I know they're doing Japan. I think they have some stores in China now. I forget. I'll have to check again. But, so hopefully in the next couple of years, we do see that the hobby explode by you, and you can be an early adopter, but obviously a little bit of a slow process. Asia's a massive place with a lot of people. Hard to service everybody. But hopefully eventually they get there. So I'm doing here is dry. It's called dry brushing. Basically, I have most of the paint off my brush. I'm just sort of running it across certain areas, catching details, and that allows me to get some easy, quick highlights on the model. Make it not just look like a pure black, but actually get some strategic amounts of like gray onto the raised surfaces. Huh. Just rip that guy's head off. Ooh, okay, I'm very behind on chats. While I glue this guy's head, let me read through those. It's investing in like decade. Oh, it's invest. I can't talk this morning. Is investing in dedicated model shelves worth it? I need to do that. I just keep stuff on my bookshelf basically. I have a single shelf above my desk that's like currently overflowing, and I have a carrying case in my car that I keep stuff in. So I think I will get like a dedicated display shelf pretty soon. But I think for me, I've been in the hobby many years. I have hundreds of models painted, so that's like a thing that comes a little bit later. If you don't have a huge collection, I would not start off with that. Right? Keep them in the box, like whatever. Yeah, dry brushing is a good technique. I bought my first ever rubric marines yesterday. Congrats. But got a gray grounding / primer color handed. Is that okay? Okay, yeah, so gray is like a good it's a good like overall primer color. I think something called Zenithal is also really cool, where you get basically black primer and you spray from above with white primer, and it gets your basically does your shadows and your highlights for you. It's like a good place to work from. For your guys, 4,000 Suns, gray is actually a pretty good color because depending on what you want to do. Black is good if you want to have like a very grungy dark scheme. White's gray if you want like a super like poppy saturated scheme. But with gray, get somewhere in the middle. Like gray will work fine, right? You can absolutely use gray, right? Because you're still gonna be painting over it. Should be an issue. Kind of random, but I did paint one of these Zaku kits with a Space Marine inspired color. I think it was a Black Templars color, but I forget. But yeah, Black Templars are basically classically just black and white, maybe some red accents. I also add in a bit of yellow. Like if I go and grab this fella right up. Let me not drop anything. Okay. Yeah, like if I like this guy. I also mix in some Imperial Fist colors into them, because they are descended from the Imperial Fists. A little bit of deep lore for you there, but yeah, most game stores will probably be looking capital, but unfortunately, yeah, I think if you're in the boonies, so to say, it might be a bit hard. Isn't there like a mall for Titus now? Yeah, they just came out with the Wardens of Ultramar, which has a Titus model, and it's very, very good in-game, last I heard. Maybe not so much anymore. Hello there, Asker Husky. Hail Slanesh, glory to the 3rd Legion. You know, Fulgrim was one of my favorite ever Warhammer books. I love that book. Don't have quite a Slanesh army, but sort of a Chaos Undivided force right here for you. Bunch of possessed. A little bit of pink on this guy. Kind of giving Slanesh vibes. I also use dry brush for gunpla, but instead of highlight, it's for battle damage. That makes sense, yeah, dulling down the edges. Absolutely. Dude gets bulkier every time he gets more authority. Praise be to the perfect Phoenician. Do you have any from Space Wolves? No, I do not. The only Space Marines I have at the moment are Black Templars. They are, Space Marine-wise, my one true love. All hail the Dark Prince. They also said that the color Drakenhof Nightshade was a good replacement for Druchii Violet for, like, the gems that I need to paint. Yeah, Drakenhof Nightshade, I believe, is more of a sort of like a petrol-y dark blue-gray. Druchii Violet is like a purplish wash. If you are having trouble finding stuff, I also recommend the AK Interactive washes. They make a bunch of also like very colorful washes, and they're a lot cheaper than GW. For me, I found them quite good. I actually recently used them on, if you guys know like Total War Warhammer, like Warhammer Fantasy or the Old Rule that's now called. I was paying some guys for that, some Ostlanders, and I was using some gray wash for these guys. I think they came out pretty damn good. I'm not finished, but just finished washing them. What are the Space Marine with the giant hand and the Hunt's posture called? They look goofy and cool at the same time. The giant hand is called a power fist, but I think what you're talking about... Oh jeez, where did I put that? Oh, they're up here. You're talking about Terminator, I think. This guy, right? This one has a saw cannon, so bit of a bigger armament. I remember being so disappointed Deathwatch wasn't a chapter lol. They look so freaking cool. You could do Deathwatch. They're not a chapter, but they're even like more unique and cool in my opinion. They're from like all different chapters. The Inquisition will recruit them for, you know, certain members might have a specific aptitude. They might have like specialties in fighting different alien races. So they like collect all the best Space Marine veterans and have them in kill teams. They are playable in game, right? You can absolutely collect Deathwatch, right? They have unique models. They have like the Watchmaster, all very cool. I remember being so disappointed. Oh, just read that. Oh, you should do a long form video on AK washes and break the video down into shorts. That's kind of what I was trying to do, Nold, and no one watched those shorts. I didn't like the reverse, but yeah. True. 4 more hours to go, Mal. Oh, what, for work? What are 4 more hours for? I don't even know what that's reference to. But alright, Nold, if you say so. You are my agent, after all. Let me actually start painting some stuff though, because we have a little bit of a more active chat this morning, and I'm getting distracted. But honestly, I do not mind at all. So please keep the messages coming, folks. Is there an alternative to texture paste if I want to design a base for that my bridge is standing on? The color that got recommended to me was Agrax Earthshade. On the packaging, it looked like brass. Agrax Earthshade is a brown wash paint, so it's not an actual texture paste. I know Games Workshop makes texture pastes. I use, yeah, what Noel just said. I have basically either Elmer's glue or like PVA glue, and then oh, it's right here. It's a mix of beach sand and old coffee grounds that I baked to remove all the germs. Or what you can do for these guys, the sort of like on their base, I used Vallejo. Vallejo makes a product. I could probably find it for you in my drawer if you give me a moment. Maybe I can't. Let's see in here. But I believe it's called Vallejo acrylic. Vallejo like acrylic modeling paste or like texture paste, and it comes in a big tub. It's much cheaper than the Games Workshop alternative. That's kind of what I recommend also. There's lots of products. Yeah, mixings. Yeah. The easiest is probably just literally get sand or dirt. Coffee grounds are one I recommend, but I also drink a lot of coffee. And then, yeah, just glue that on. Mix it with the glue to create paste, whatever you want to do. Some of those products can get pricey, and oftentimes even looks better, and you have more control over the product if you start doing stuff yourself. We are finally fully dry here. Only 45 minutes in the stream, we could finally get to doing some more intensive painting without worrying about messing up the layer underneath. I just would like for them to have a base where it looks like as if they're staying on the light, dried out grass and rubble. I see. You can buy flock pretty cheaply. Let me get some beast with it. One second. This guy's a good example. If I can get him. Yeah, so this like sort of lighter green here on the edge of his base is called flock. You can also get these grass tufts, which I think also add a lot of interest to the base. You can sort of mix in like different kinds and different textures. So if you're looking for grass, there are many products. Army Painter makes some, Gamer Grass makes some. There might be some local alternatives, but that's what I can recommend on that front. Okay. Ooh, man, I'm sorry if I missed some chats. Things are going kind of quick. So, for metallic, there are metallic paints. And then there's also non-metallic metal that Gino was talking about, where you, kind of like more you would in like a traditional painting, you would paint your lights and shadows on the model. Let me see if I can't find an example of that. This guy. So this was one of my first attempts ever doing it, but you can see I didn't use gold paint like on this guy. Like the silver here is silver and gold is like a special paint, something called mica powder that like reflects the light in a certain way, it makes it look metallic. Here what I did is, like if you look at the gold, I took like brown and then I layered up to yellow, then I layered up to like a pale sort of whitish, like white yellow, and I manually adjusted the locations of the of like the glint of the metal. So this game right here, have a good one, Plamo-fan Rekka. I'll just get past the Gundam stuff. 150 Gundam in my life, I got about 200 in my backlog. I'm glad that it's not just the Warhammer you have too much of, Gino. Oh my god. That's like... I guess they come in different sizes, right? But I feel like that's a lot of space. Because most of those kits seem pretty big. I bet you have some like smaller ones too, but still. Are you getting into Gundam Assemble at all? Also, like Gundam card game, that's been like doing gangbusters at the local store. I always see people playing that. If I do need to suddenly leave, by the way, guys, I'd have a, I set an alarm because I sometimes lose track of time while I stream. But I do have an appointment with the vet later. So a usual checkup, and my dog does have a little bit of like, I think it might be a growth, so you get that checked out. Hopefully nothing major. But we still have many hours time to do that. And tonight, I'll be editing my next long form. Maybe I'll even do a gaming stream, because I do need to get some footage of XCOM 2. Probably some more homeworld footage, because I didn't record the one mission I really wanted to get footage of. There was the ghost ship mission in that game. Lots and lots of that. I want to save some money to invest in any kind of collecting that I want to do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always do it within your means. Um, there are cheap alternatives. One of the things I'm lucky. I got into it early. I'm also a pretty decent painter, not to, be too ingratiating to myself, but I have the liberty of being able to buy a model, paint it to a standard that I like, then I am able to keep it around for a couple of years. Then once I don't really want to collect the army anymore, or once I don't really have space for that model, I can sell it for a profit and then buy many more models. So I typically stay in the green when it comes to my hobby, which is kind of like a nice luxury to have that I know most people don't, but Mal, are you going to get fixed? Well, at the vet? It's kind of weird because I have a mix of things I want to collect. Yeah, I think a lot of us do. A lot of us like nerdier people have many weird and expensive interests that we all need to juggle. I only it's more room efficient than Gundam, to be fair. Cell shading in 3D objects. That's super neat. I know some people have tried that even on like 2D. I don't know if you're like an artist or you paint anything, but I can't really get a handle on like cell shading stuff. It's also just not style. I'm like I appreciate. I like the look of it. It's not something I would like want to necessarily pursue, but if you can get that to look good on models, I feel like that would look incredible. You would be a better painter than me if you could get that done. What did I glue these guys with that they're just coming apart now? What the hell? Well, to be fair, you are oftentimes a little bit forceful with dry brushing, but still kind of wild. Digital artist, but not that. I mean, I'm sure you are great. My tablet is rotting beside me, though. Yeah, well, I think that's a big thing. Just always try and rekindle your love of doing it. Don't force yourself to do it, but don't like do it in an unhealthy way, right? I guess a better way to phrase that is like give yourself like a good reason to do it, right? And always try and make sure you keep the love alive. I got Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I have very old Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Apparently, I tried selling them once. Apparently, a lot of them don't have like any value. Like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, even like previously good or beloved ones. Like I have there was like 3 Egyptian god cards that I had, and apparently those aren't even worth money anymore. Like enough money that I would actually want to sell them, which I thought was kind of crazy. I'm kind of scared to use spray because of the fumes. Same with the glue I ordered today because I use a mask spray outside. Hot Wheels, we love getting those. Yeah, I think the big thing with like cards is I'm not into them now, but I was when I was a kid. So it's probably like when/if I have kids, that's probably going to them, right? My old Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon stuff and whatever. Like I don't really need the money at the moment. If I ever do, I'll always sell them. But beyond that, they'll probably just rot in a series of drawers until a child presents itself that I can usher them onto. Well, yeah, I think for me it's like I outgrew it a little bit. Like I'm into Warhammer, I'm into other stuff now, so it's like I can't like find it in myself to like it anymore. But then it's like, you know, maybe one day someone else will, and I don't need the money that bad. So it's like I'll just keep it for now. And it's also like when you get into stuff, right? Because I was like elementary school and I got into cards, like everyone on the playground or whatever was into them, so I'm like a fake fan that way. I got peer pressure to the cards. Hot Wheels, like, I remember Hot Wheels from when I was a kid. Do like, I guess kids now just don't play with toys, right? But I don't know if those are still a thing. But you know what's sick when you were a kid? Beyblades. I remember when my friends in elementary school, we always bring the little ramp around. There was one guy who would go onto like Japanese Beyblade forums, and he would have his parents go on eBay and like order him like certain parts that were like highly sought after and like competitive, so that he could just demolish us during lunch break. They're not so heavy anymore. I can imagine that. I don't know. A lot of kids just don't play with toys. All my cousins have children. I see like there's very different philosophies between different kids. Like some are iPad babies, some have like never touch the internet. Got banned from school though. Yeah, same with us. Got banned from our elementary school. No one even got hurt though. It was just like, I guess they didn't want people like they want the risk. The risk associated with extreme Beyblading. Alright guys, I have some crazy cotton mouth, and this whole stream I've been without water. So I'm going to go grab some water, I'm going to go grab a coffee, I will be back in just 2 minutes and then we will continue. Alright, I am back and I have something kind of funny to share. So, my mom is a cleaner. And oftentimes, whenever rich people she works for will be throwing stuff out, she might take it home. She asked me if I wanted this mug. I think it's one of the funniest mug designs I've ever seen. It's a white mug with gold-plated text, and it just says everything is fine. I got this yesterday. I think it's gonna be my new favorite mug. I see we have condescending Gino being a little bitch boy in chat. Can't believe it. Try and share a funny little personal anecdote, and he condescends that you can't believe it. I thought we were friends, Gino. Alright, we're gonna start with a brighter highlight now. You know someone that experienced painter when they throw their brushes like that. I will drive to your home. You don't know where I live. Never gave you... You know the area. You know the vague region. This is a population-dense area of the United States. You'll never find me. Good day! That stream popped up in my feed, so I thought I'd have a look. Well, we're glad to have you. We're painting some, Black Templars. Sorry. This... I just realized how confusing this is, because this looks like the new guy, the Bolt Eradicator, but it's not. It's a, Heavy Intercessor. Also GW's fault for making the current Space Marine range a confusing nightmare. Nice. Praise the Emperor. Yep, just doing a bit of dry brushing here. Bully the streamer to fit in? Nah. Just for that, Noel, welcome to Banneroo, buddy. I'm paying off camera like a dunce. Apologies. Only if he deserves it. I don't deserve it. Please have mercy. Mercy. Noel's my biggest hater, but I prefer to keep him where I can see him, have my eyes on him at all times. Whoa. I was a little bit too eager with my highlight there, but hopefully it looks okay. It doesn't, it looks bad, but that's where you can go and we can clean up with some glazes. Later, we could glaze some black into some of the panels. If anything looks a little bit too gray and washed out. What color do we do on the bolters, guys? Do we think in red, black? We're doing yellow for his right arm and his knee pad. But no mercy in the grimdark future. I'm apparently your agent. My nephew is the youngest Warhammer fan. He's 13. I'm a terrible influence on him. That's a good way of putting it. Valkar. I do have a little bit of experience though. I say as I have like 4,000 points of Black Templars. It's about like knowing where to put your highlights. I have a bit of a video on it if you want to check that out. But I think it's my earliest quote unquote good video. It's still probably not as good as my most recent two. I might have to redo in the future, but whatever. So Warhammer in the 90s. I wasn't even born yet. Nice. What do you get started with? Were you ever a fantasy guy, or were you just 40k? My goal is to create a whole Tzeentch army. Tzeentch is my favorite chaos god. Weirdly enough, I don't really love his models. I like Tzeentch conceptually, let's put it that way. I love the way flamers look. I love some models like the Changeling. I'm not really the biggest fan of horrors, though. I don't really like them. But a Tzeentch army would be sick. Would you go, like, both? Alright. I'm a big old world guy, actually. I'm not paying him now, but I'm working on an Ostland army for a upcoming narrative campaign, and I have a huge collection of Beastmen. See, now that I know it's Gino's favorite, I have to pick a new one. I don't want to share anything in common with that guy. Oh, sorry, I missed something. Do you put a sealant or protective coat on your models? Yes, I varnish them. A nice matte varnish goes a long way. Some people don't, but I play with my models. I have people touch my models. I would never ever finish a paint job that I was happy with without spraying that thing in matte varnish, because I have had paint chip on me. I've had grease stains. I've had people with who ate chips touch my models and scratch the paint. It's not a good thing. I will always advise you to varnish your models. If they're just gonna be a display piece in your house, whatever, but it's probably a good move, in my honest opinion. We're friends again? Okay, fine, we're friends again. But I was stealing in my head for painting stuff, so I read books, played the PC games. Right on. I was also a big book guy, even as early as elementary school. I got into tabletop in late middle school once. Basically, once I actually had a way to get money, I blew my first influx of money onto the Dark Imperium Star set. If you want to read about the Primarchs, there's a couple of 40k ones. There's a lot of 30k ones. The main ones with the Primarchs are going to be Dark Imperium and Plague War for Gilliman. There's Lion, Son of the Forest, you want Lionel Johnson. There's a few that have the Chaos Gods, but none as main characters, really. Started painting collecting in the past 10 years. Good shit. Gotcha and Felix are always good for Old World. Probably some of the best Old World books. That's the go-to. Old World doesn't have a lot of great books, but they have Gotcha and Felix, which makes up for a lot. Wish there would be more though. Morning Mal. Hey Grave, how are you doing? Sorry I couldn't make your stream last night. Wasn't feeling the best. I was just kind of nursing the sore throat. on my couch watching From, which is a pretty good show. I'm on season... I just started season 4. I can quite recommend it if you're into, like, horror mystery stuff. From the little I know about Warhammer and Journal, fantasy is, like, completely different, right? Memory Boat of Dark Angels. It's fantasy with axes and swords. Yeah. Warhammer Fantasy is, I would say, a completely different setting, but there are some similarities. They both have orcs. The Chaos Gods are the same. But it's a very different vibe. There's also Age of Sigmar if you want. Age of Sigmar is basically 40k in a fantasy setting, but I'm not as big as a fan of that one. That one's a little weird. Old World is finally getting some new miniatures though, which is very good to see. Those new Chaos Warriors look excellent. What I really want is a Helldrake, the Portal Beast. I assume you mean Mutual Vortex Beast. The Greater Demons, like the one with the bird head, that's Lord of Change. Well, with 2 bird heads, that's also Lord of Change, or maybe Kairos Fate Weaver. I think both of them have 2 heads. Hellbrute's cool. Magnus is cool. I have 3 Keepers of Secrets, 4 Bloodthirsters, and 2 Lords of Change, and thousands more. Holy shit, Valkor. But if you want a... Oh god. Can I get this guy down without breaking him? Oh, he's dusty. Sorry about slightly dusty miniature, but I do have a... Oh, you guys are not gonna be able to see this on camera. Whatever, believe me, it's a Helldrake, I promise. I don't have any Greater Demons though. Probably need to get one at some point. I have no Greater Demons, no Primarchs, just guys. I just have dudes. That's a Helldrake. About half of the angry one. How are you doing on Angry Ron? I saw you on what, part 4? Or sorry, yesterday was part 4. So hopefully that's going well. I think I mentioned this already. I think Angron, if I had to pick like a Chaos Primarch, just like for the miniature, of the 4 currently available ones, I think Angron's probably the worst. Like I think his mini is a little bit mid compared to the others. Like he's cool, but he's no Mortarion, right? He's no Fulgrim. Even though I like the Horus Heresy Fulgrim better. The Horus Heresy one, that one's still resin though, so I might, to be honest, I might get a recast of that one at some point. Oh, I'm breaking these guys all over, huh? Knocked his knocked his chain loose. Gangley, on my side of the world, will peace out. Have a good one just passing through. Really excellent to have you here. At least 2 more days till I have OSL to do anything. Fulgrim looks awesome. Fulgrim looks incredible, man. IMO. Yeah, I agree. I like Angron. I think his... Compared to the other 3... Right. That's like... He's a beautiful miniature. One of GW's best. But compared to the other 3... Sinch is perfect. Magnus on my list too. Yeah. Magnus is good. I'm pretty sure I'll just keep these guys around as a stream project. But unfortunately, progress is a little bit slow. But what I'll do is I'll just work on them a couple times a week on stream. And hopefully, eventually they'll come together. I looked at the Scale & Tide box. I realized that with some of the weirdness with the old world rule set, a bunch of those Skaven don't have official stat blocks, and my to be honest, my desire to use that box kind of faded a little bit. So I'll definitely be working on that at some point, but it's currently just sitting on my shelf, and probably will be for. I've like prepared my next few months of projects. I think Scale & Tides might even have to be next year, right? Like, it's gonna be a while. I'll definitely use some of those scans for Old World, but we'll see. Or I might just steal the bits to make cheese stealer cults for 40k. We'll see. Also, I can't believe you posted in Warden's Discord that I'm the nicer version of Warden. Which is not true. But Gino out here trying to start drama. He's trying to get all of us to fight each other while he then comes in and swoops down while we're all weakened. Takes all of our fan bases away. He's currently deep faking audio of me as we speak. Hey guys, this is Mal, and I love atrocities. I love diplomatic incidents. So it's not even gonna be like a Monday thing. It's gonna be like, yeah, you're worse than me. But at least I get to cope and say, oh, I'm not a streamer. I make videos. I just stream sometimes. What a cope. Oh, we get two days of Gino streams. Uh, is it a given rule to paint your minis in a certain way, or can you freestyle as long as it looks somewhat like the original? It doesn't look somewhat like the original at all. You can do whatever you want. So even like 40k was originally built as a setting that has the scope for you to do whatever you want. So like even my Black Templars, they don't look like normal Black Templars, right? They have all their like Imperial Fist stuff, right? I have many complete homebrew factions. So for example, I have some orcs, but they're all like Nurgle and Chaos Corrupted. They don't follow the orc color scheme at all, right? They're like, you know, they have like pallid yellowed flesh. They've got like blacks and greens and purples and stuff. Like, you can do whatever you want. If you know the lore, you can totally come up with like an explanation of why they work that way, or you can just do something that looks cool, right? Either way, it doesn't matter. Or like, you know, my Tau. I have a video on these guys too. I have some homebrew lore for them, but they're like, you know, they also have a very different color scheme, right? And there's nothing like this in Tau, like official lore. I came up with a reason because I am a lore head. You don't even need a reason, right? You can just say, okay, they're that color. People, honestly, I respect someone that has like a unique color scheme a lot more than someone that has like the box art, right? The box art is, you know, it's kind of basic sometimes. I'm not saying it's like a bad thing, but still, like, if someone comes up with something like that looks really unique, I'm gonna appreciate that more all the time. So the games and the lore have room for you to make your own stuff. It's a, you know, the Imperium is the empire of a billion suns, right? There are so many planets that, like, who knows what's going on in any specific one, right? There's, like, many chapters that we don't have any lore on, right? They're just able to make your own Space Marine chapter. There are, same thing with, like, Chaos War bands, or whatever faction you'll be playing. There's room to do your own stuff. The more you know the lore, you know, you might be able to maybe, like, tie in stuff or make it work, but you are always free to go your own way. Do your thing, and a lot of people will appreciate that. I am biased, but I appreciate that kind of stuff more than the box art. I've seen many Ultramarines armies, right? You don't always need to do like the one thing. Brother, I feel bonita. I don't know if you're necessarily hyper lore compliant, but you know, but you can do that, absolutely. We also Tuesday stream, Gino. What about Face? Isn't there someone you forgot to ask? It's the one time of week he does anything. Anyway. My autism won't let me do any freestyle, so I'm pretty stuck on the box art, sorry. yeah, some people get that, right? So, or some people, right? You can engage with the world, with the thing, with the hobby, however you want, right? But keep in mind, like, you know, for Space Marines, there's like many official, so maybe not even box art, but like just look through the official color schemes. Okay, so we're gonna do like a midday stream. I see. This stream has been kind of popping off also, which is quite nice. Let me start with this. So we're going to start doing the yellow, but in order to do that, we're going to start off with some of the saddle brown. In a minute, I'm going to be doing what's called wet blending, but before we do that, I do want to start off with a baseline. And get all the bits that are going to be yellow. Paint with this. Weirdly enough, I've never been much of like a tutorial guy. I just kind of like figure. Well, sorry, I'm a tutorial guy when it comes to like I'll see like a weird technique like I don't know, airbrushing or like zenithal highlights, and I'll copy that. But like when it comes to like brush applications, I usually just like try stuff out. I feel like you kind of have to. But I mean, sponging seems to work for you. But I think one of the big sort of things is if you get really good at one thing like that, and your sponge models look so good, and your other models maybe don't look as good as if you didn't sponge, then you might like get into like a psychological trap where you never want to leave your little comfort space of sponging. Which is also maybe not the most healthy. So I mean, yeah, like you figure your stuff out, go on your own hobby journey, but don't be afraid to go outside the box. No, because it's wet blending was like my sponging. There was a time where I wet blended everything. You know, because it lets you like do unique stuff with cool colors and like do these fun transitions. I'm not telling him sponging sucks. I just mean his sponging looks great, and I know if I was in his situation and I had these really cool sponge models and I had trouble. I just got my viewership to tank to 0. Is everyone good? I did see a lot of tutorials today, and what I gathered is using a grounding color like let dry, paint gold blue, use oils. Of course I need to glue it too. Alright, let me check one thing out, because OBS says I'm up, but I now have 0 views, so let me just make sure I'm not just boring and everyone left. Let me make sure the stream is actually alive. I'm not just boring and everyone left. Let me make sure the stream. Oh wait, no, stream is alive. Let me refresh. Hold on. No, we're alive. Weird, weird, weird. Some people might need a refresh. I don't know. Okay, good. Mine says I have 0, so we'll just ignore that. Yeah, because it went from like 5 to 0 in the course of like a second, so that was. I assumed I went down. I mean, I left. I show up on your YouTube front page. Well, glad I could be of assistance. Do you have any interest in Warhammer stuff? Anson and Sono Berlin? Maybe it was Destiny. I mean, I think it's all just algo stuff, right? It's algorithmically driven. You watch Warhammer paying stuff, you get recommended Warhammer paying stuff. I do, yes. I like watch people paint, gathering ideas for a Wood Elf army. That's super sick. I am, unfortunately, I think I'm your like eternal rival because I am a huge Beastman head. Many of the Beastie Boys painted. I just started Old World. I started Old World only like 6 months ago, but I've painted like 100 models so far. There is a little bit of a story there, because Tower are one of those factions that have had like multiple rewrites, in terms of like going from, I don't know, it's a few things like. Also, when they came in, the Warhammer lore was a little different. It was like a lot more grim dark, and looking back, to be honest, I kind of do see where people were coming from. I think they probably didn't fit that version of the setting as well. But, you know, Tower themselves have also had some rewrites. I don't know. They've had like a long, complicated history of the setting. But I think, as they are now, they are a really cool, unique faction. And I do think that Tau hate maybe gets a little bit overstated. That was like... I feel like they don't get much hate now. I feel like, but they definitely used to. Also, in-game, they're a bit rough to play, because they are such a ranged-heavy faction. Are you planning on picking up the new Battle March boxes and so no? I know there's that Wood Elf one, but to be honest, that Wood Elf one didn't seem like a great deal. I guess Wood Elves are a little bit more elite, so that might be it. Oh wait, this is one color. I saw a short where someone played orcs and they rolled their dice, but it was filled up in a hat, and the enemy said, "Yeah, okay, my troops are dead." I don't know what that was about. Maybe something with the log. It was probably just mathematically there were so many attacks being made by the orcs that you probably couldn't survive. I remember I was playing. I have a bunch of dice when I play Templars because I have a lot of chainsword attacks. I was playing against a Tyrannid / Gene cult guy. He's running both armies in like one list, and we had so many dice. I just took an old shoebox, which is what I used to bring my army around in back before I had like a special fancy case. I just took the old shoebox. We just filled it with dice. We just shook the whole thing, and that's how we did all our dice rolling that game. This was back in college during my undergrad. I just play with friends, so we don't care about 3D prints. Good on you. Yeah, the old world has a bunch of really cool 3D sculpts. Especially helps because all of the models are so old. If I got anything, there are still battalion boxes around for Wood Elves. I just go get one of those. Yeah, the Battle March box for Wood Elves seems kind of bad. I feel very spoiled as a Beastman guy because the Beastman battalion was cool because it had the Cygor / Gorgon. I built Gorgon. And then the new one is also really good because it has like 50 models, has a bunch of the characters. Seems like depends how much it goes for. I don't actually know. I'm assuming like 150-ish is going to be the MSRP. I mean, like 120 is what you're going to be able to buy it from LGS from. But that might not be right. That might be incorrect. Because I have not seen them in stock yet. But yeah, the Beastman one seems super good compared to Wood Elf one. Unfortunately. The High Elf one also is kind of like a bad value. I don't know. The other ones also have really old models. So I think Beastman just lucked out again. It's also like, Beastmen are a horde army, so we get more models per box. But then we also are like one of the more recent ranges. Because we're low up from like 7th edition Warhammer Fantasy. So like, the models still are not ancient, so it's nice. Let's look at High Elves though. The Lothern Sea Guard, I didn't know this. They come in boxes of 35 for $90, which is like, I mean, at that point, I think I might buy like just a box of Lothern Sea Guard because they're like pretty nice miniatures too. They're like a lot better than the current Spearmen and Archers. So I might just buy some Sea Guard as just to have. It might be fun to paint one day. Did I end up telling you with 2 Mays of the month a full sprue of Skaven paint lesson minis and 3 Stormcast guys? Oh, you end up okay. I see. I don't know why that took me so long to get. No, you did not tell me. Was this all like Warhammer promotional stuff, Warhammer store goodies, or was this like a con thing? Also, I might be going to Nova. Like after our tournament, we kind of got drunk at a local bar, and then we started planning a Nova trip. And I need to like verify while we're all sober on Friday if that's like actually happening. I think that might be cool. But also I have a friend's birthday on, well, it's a friend's girlfriend's birthday on that weekend. So I might have to miss that, but besides that, I think I'm basically free that week. So maybe I'm going to DC. And yeah, let me know if you're gonna go down, Gino. Yeah, I mean, no pressure. I'm going with our people, but if you are, it would be cool to meet up at some point. Is Nova just like wargaming stuff? I might want to do some RPG stuff too, but I don't know if that's like a thing at Nova. See, you got me hooked. I'm now going to all these cons, Gino. It's all your fault. I know it's in DC. And apparently there's gonna be an old world thing there. And I might be playing there. And I might be getting my ass kicked. And I just hope... And there's like a 2v2 thing. I doubt anyone's gonna want to be my partner. Because I'm very well liked at the store. But I also lose every game. So... I think that the big 2v2 event might be outside my wheelhouse. I remember back in 8th edition, everyone was playing like the Nova competitive pack. I remember that was like the go-to before GW made their official competitive rules. Everyone's using their like terrain layout. Hold on. Oh, you're totally right. You know, when I had that weird, like, you know, 0 viewer bug, I refreshed my page and it defaulted me to top chance of live chat. My bad. Sorry, I didn't see your message. To be honest, I don't think I can afford another set of minis for the next 4 months because this box cost me over $50, plus other beginner stuff. 200. Yeah. I mean that's rough. I mean, always again, if money's tight, like look for knockoffs, look for 3D prints, look for recasts. But if you can't do that, yeah, I totally get you. Like I'll never tell people to always go for GW stuff, especially if they can't afford it, right? But yep, sorry about that. I should be seeing all the comments now. Oh, some profit. So I'm like, I've taken manufacturing courses, right? I understand sort of the... I know they're from the UK, so basically, what I would say the situation is it's basically majority of their costs are probably going to be packaging. It's going to be their like printing of the instruction manual. It's going to be transport, because the actual plastic is like, it's not that expensive. Plastic prices are going way up, which is something people aren't talking about. Plastic prices in recent years have, you know, but it's still probably like less than $10 to print a Primark, or like to, you know, mold a Primark. But even then, I think Games Workshop, their margins are like incredibly high. I think they're getting a lot of money from it, and I don't know, it really is just like it's being priced as like a hyper luxury good, which I think is a little weird, but yeah, I mean, it's also the fact that they produce in the UK. I think if they produced in the US, or especially if they produce in Asia, things would be much different. But I understand that you're a UK company, you want the UK to hail Slanesh. They're back. I do want to get some demon models, but I think I'll probably go for alternatives. GW demons are okay. I've seen some really good like 3D print ones. I'm in between either some Demonettes or some Bloodthirsters. Yep, welcome back, Azukar Husky. Azukar. I'll say that. About names, sorry. Alright, let's get some actual yellow on these models. The only thing I'll do, and so shall the Grateful Grim. He's already back. He's around like the current setting, right? He's shown. I mean, I'm Swiss, so that may be a factor, like different countries, but then again, it shouldn't vary too much if I'm wrong. Not counting discounts, by the way. So yeah, but like, even EU prices compared to like the British pound prices, like they upcharge the UK, they upcharge the US more, but the whole ecosystem around Games Workshop pricing is kind of incredibly. But I am being dramatic. The whole ecosystem is really like unfortunate. It's like kind of unhealthy. I feel like, I don't know, but they keep making money, so that's that. But if I'm sure where you're at, like buying some 3D prints, buying some recasts, like if you're at a point where you're trying to buy the official models and it like is not working out, I would say it's probably a better idea to just, you know, get some knockoffs or whatever and use those, like if money is tight, because it's close enough and you can practice paint, you can practice doing all your stuff, and you can not, you know, have to worry about such drastic financial commitments. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to grab some of the yellow, we're going to grab a little dollop of that sort of dark brown color we used, and as they're still wet, we're going to be playing with them like on the actual miniature itself. And we'll basically be doing all our like blends and shadows as the paint's still wet. And hopefully getting a decent result. But you need to be careful because this brown is way stronger than the yellow is. So that is a concern. I have holidays right now, so that was sort of the budget for 2 weeks that I could spend. If I'm lucky, there's a discount at the local store in maybe months like autumn or winter. Which gives me an idea to paint some minis festival-like. Okay. Yeah, no, definitely some festive miniatures could look great. Well, my cousin's actually staying in Bern. But I have not kept up with her in quite a few weeks now. Actually, maybe even been months. I think last time I texted her was like probably July. No, not July. I think it was like May. But hey, that's just me. Maybe not being the best cousin in the world. And that web pulling thing that we're doing, we're primarily doing it on the flat surfaces. On some of the bigger ones, we're just kind of just doing more volumetric highlights. I hate all the small sounds everything makes. You mean for my audio? If it's like an audio issue, I would appreciate if you could like that, like what is that's making a sound? Is it like it might be the fact, no, in my house. I see. Okay. I was gonna say I have noticed that there is, while I'm painting and I'm like knocking stuff around, some like the rattle will seem really bad on my mic, and it does kind of ruin the audio quality in certain sections of the stream. I was re-listening to some parts. My audio is not good. My audio is sufficient, but thanks for the thanks for the ego boost. You're good. Warden, you are free to confuse me all you like. I am perpetually confused. Not like you're gonna make it much worse. I'll just, while this is drying, I'll work on some other guys. Oh, you know what? I was curious. The lav mic might be good for streams, but especially I need the lav mic for battle reports. That would be cool. That would be a good pickup, I think. Well, first we need to see how the battle report video does. And before we see how it does, I actually need to finish it, because I'm really behind it. Although I say that, and then usually the way video editing goes for me, at least, it's like, oh god, I'm behind, I'm not finishing this on time. Oh god, I'm behind, I'm not finishing this on time. And then, like, one day, I'll just get, like, all the motivation, and I'll once, like, all the audio is recorded, I'll, you know, I'll underestimate how fast I can actually get a video out, like, once all the constituent parts are assembled. And like once I have like a finalized idea of what the video looks like, what the script is, what the format is. I need to adjust mine. I just went back. I don't like how it sounds. That's on me. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you remind me, off stream, I can give it a listen. I can then do a comparison. I could give you my feedback. If that's something you would like. Uh-oh, your audio's gone. Let me get a new playlist load up for you guys, but let me just also take a moment. All right. There's one that I always forget to save, but I quite like it. This one we already did. Let's do this one. Wait, no. Was this the one I'm thinking of? All right, let's play this one. Looks like I did save it. I'm just kind of a dunce sometimes. I didn't recognize the thumbnail. I don't think this is the one I started the stream off with, but I don't really remember. To be quite honest. I am doing great, man. I am just fine. I had, honestly, probably one of the funnest Saturdays in a long time with just a bunch of nerdy dudes at my local game store, and I really, really liked it. Went to a bar afterwards, got drunk, yelled about random history that 90% of the population wouldn't even understand, and just had a grand old time. Oh, Warhammer the Old World Tournament. You were holding it up. I probably would have gotten last place if not for getting the bye, where we had an odd number of players, and first round, I was lucky enough to be one of the guys who didn't play an actual game. But then one of the guys from the store also, I guess the guy operating the floor, also was able to bring out his dwarves and play a game against me. So I did get a game in, I just did not contribute to the score, and I got a free win. Meaning I was not last, which is pretty cool. I say that, but I really want the award for being last, if I'm being honest. That was I was hoping I could get it. The guy who did get last, I've lost to him before. So I know I had it in me to get last place. Chocolate milk acquired, message redacted? What the? The scene here is apparently very, very large. No, for Warhammer? Or the old world? Or both? Why the hell they retracting your messages, Warden? Damn. Can't believe they're not holding it up. I didn't retract shit. I will retract my swear for you though. Uh, between chocolate milk acquired and the scene, here is apparently very, very large. There was a message that was retracted. I don't know if that was willingly or not. If I ever get Magnus in my hands, I'll probably paint his armor white and gold and his hair blonde, plus his skin color like that of Sanguinius. So like a pale skin color. The wings will probably do angelic. So nice holy Magnus, angelic Magnus. That actually sounds really cool. Must have been a glitch, yeah, maybe. But that's actually, I don't think I've seen something like that before. Timbowman. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But no, that's actually a really unique idea, so I totally go for it, man. Sounds sick as hell. Still know what I'm gonna do for the weapon casings. Might just do the classic red I've been doing throughout a lot of this army. Just call me Tim. Makes sense. Oh, Tim Bauman. Oh, you know what? I'm really bad with like YouTube names because it's all like in one. Even though it's like a really normal name, for whatever reason, my brain makes me like separate in weird ways. I don't know. My bad. My bad, Tim. As long as you don't call me Timmy. You're good on that front then. Maybe I do need to get Primarch at some point. That would maybe be a cool project. You know, I just became very cognizant that as I was painting, I was sort of getting very sloppy with the yellow. Probably because I was reading chat, and now I'm realizing, yeah, maybe I'll have to go back and redo some things because, like, as I'm doing this guy in a more like controlled way that I would usually paint, like not on camera, oh yeah, this looks like way better and way cleaner than. Obviously not done yet, but like, I don't know. These are also just kind of like a basic infantry. I doubt if they're like not the best in the world. I doubt I get many complaints still. I mean, I feel like I kind of this like. I think once you paint something to a high standard, you don't always have to meet that same standard. Mainly, like, but you know, if it's in the same squad, obviously, I want them all to sort of be at the same tier. Oh, hey, Chaos. How you doing? Good morning. I forget if you're still using our time or you're back home, but whatever time is over there, wherever you might be, have a good one. I always wonder if there's people out there that actually speak like orcs. Yeah, they're called the British. Prepared for chaos stream. Hey, Mrs. Grave Warden. Always meet that standard. Consistency is key. I disagree. I think you can be a little bit inconsistent. You don't always need to go 100% because then once you can paint a display level piece, you stop painting normal guys. Anyway, there's people like me who look. Nah, yes, I would dare say you're the handsomest out of everyone in this little club. I return. How you doing, old? If you keep trying to meet your standards go up. Okay, well, yeah, but if you have like a very... Okay, well, when I have like, you know, a really high standard, like this guy kind of model, that takes me a long time to do. If I try and paint everyone like him, it's not that, like, I'll get better, right? Like, I'm already at that level, it just, I physically cannot paint everyone that level in a reasonable amount of time. Not like me, people I live near. Oh, wait. Oh, there's people by me who look like orcs. I see, okay. I was gonna say, you have a very regal appearance. You're definitely of the aristocracy. I can see it in your eyes. Every mini is a test. You will get better. Maybe I'm good enough, Warden. Not actually, but I don't know. I have a very different view. We can agree to disagree. Not for me, there isn't. I'm perfect, you know? Mal number 1. The new Mal world order. It doesn't catch so well on camera, but this yellow looks real nice in person. This might not be the best paint job to record, at least on these things, because the yellow looks kind of bad and the black look the black looks alright on camera. Where's that focus? However, 5 p.m. at the moment. It's a cozy time. You not plugging KS is actual criminal behavior? I mean, he makes good stuff. Well, what am I supposed to do? KS streams. He normally streams in 2 hours or 1 hour. Oh, I see. 6 p.m. where I live. That makes sense. Well, is Chaos about to start streaming? I'm probably finishing up pretty soon, so I'll definitely give him a shout if he's going live. I don't know Chaos' schedule, unfortunately. I just get notifications, and then if on the off chance I'm free, I'll pop in for a little bit. Malcord will have to be done relatively soon, but I don't know. It's like another thing to do. For a long time, I thought it was just gonna be the same people as everyone else's, so I feel like it's kind of superfluous. But maybe it's worth making. I'll also. I don't know. Like I feel like a unified Discord isn't also not a bad idea, but I don't know how you guys feel about that. Instead of like splitting off randomly, especially when we're not. None of us are particularly big streamers or YouTubers or anything, so it's like. Consolidation might be the more worthwhile strategy. I don't know. We can talk about it. It's worth it. You end up getting more people if you multi-stream. That's a good idea. You want to make mine that? I mean, we were talking with I was talking with the face about it also for his. I don't know. We'll see. Once it's try Discord and everyone gets their own spinner cells, I'm down. That sounds fun. The nuking part. I vote for Noel to be the president of the server. Thank you. I doubt it. Like, we're not gonna get Malal back. I don't think we get 5th Chaos God, if I'm being honest. I think, I think the 4 that are currently there. Nold is, I agree, Nold is the 5th Chaos God. And he will be forgotten and destroyed. Until only the 4 remain. No, yeah, I don't know. Also, I'm still confused, as I constantly am. We established this earlier. But, is Chaos gonna be streaming? If so, when? Because I'll probably, end my stream and... Sorry, Malice, you don't really count as an emotion. It's bullshit you let the rat in here. Warden, am I also your agent? Yeah, I don't know. If Chaos is streaming, let me know when. In about 2 hours. Okay, cool. I'll probably call it I'll probably call it before then, but everyone check out Chaos Miniatures after I end off. He does also very good streams. If you like my stuff, you'll probably like his. He is a good guy, and I hope you guys show him all the love you've shown me this fine morning. I just saw that my order of utensils will arrive in 2 days, so I'm hyped to finally start my painting journey. And then once I have glued everything correctly, definitely keep me updated, Tim, because that sounds absolutely incredible. I love seeing what new people get up to, and you know, obviously, don't try and compare yourself. Just do your own thing. Trust me, your first models will definitely look better than mine. I started off, my painting skills started off like the, like Batman in the third movie of Dark Knight trilogy, at the bottom of the pit. Tuesday is the day everyone is streaming, so I get some work done off camera. Ugh, my phone is dying fast, so I hate not being home. I should film things on Tuesdays, like long format or something. That would be cool. Yeah, long format Warden. Can't wait for it. I'm comfortably at my PC, so I don't have to worry about charging. Very nice. Tim is building an enemy. Come on, don't get too jealous, Gino. Apparently, I can make the Malcord and give you ownership if you want me. You want to make a flash copy of mine? No, I'll definitely work on my own Discord thing. I'll probably do it after this stream, because I have a bunch of new people come in. It'll be good just to throw something in the description box. And plug it over time. But we'll see. I'm not in a rush, is the thing. I'm not in a rush. YouTube's my main platform. If you want to keep up with me, join here, you know, click the bell, whatever, and then as I come up with stuff, you'll be notified. I think that yellow looks incredible. Really happy with that. I also thought of painting a Lord of Change, aka Big Bird Boys, like completely black, resembling a real. I really like the idea, Tim. That sounds like actually like a goated concept. That would be very cool. They've also got their connotation of wisdom, especially in like the Norse mythology. So I'm still trying to get over a little bit of a sore throat. I'm a bit mush-mouthed this stream, but hopefully that's not a continuing issue. You know what? Let me grab some, let me grab some red. Let me start doing, I think the gun casing, I'm just gonna do red. That sounds like a half-decent idea. It's a little too bright. I just realized. I almost always don't start off with pure of this red color. I almost always start off with a little bit of the red and then a little bit of the black. I mix those together. Or I mix in a little bit of the purple and a little bit of the black into the red. For my base coat. Got my charger finally, just hate. Now I can't chat like I would at home. You are good, Nold. I appreciate your presence, even if it's not writ in uppercase. There we go. Nice. A little bit more muted red. Eventually, we'll obviously work our way up with the highlights back to a stronger color. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I bought a Thousand Suns army to a tournament with a speaker box playing some ancient Egyptian music? Swirl dust. Pocket sand. I'm gonna bring a word bearer's army. I'm gonna get possessed by an actual ancient Mesopotamian demon. They'll never see it coming. Unfortunately, I think you might end up losing out on the Best Sportsmanship Award, but it's a small price to pay. This is pocket sand. Your argument is invalid. I think that's 1.5 more hours. Yeah, I have my vet trip coming up. I also want to maybe eat something before I leave, so let me just flash all the guys you painted so far. You know, still early days on these minis, still got a lot to do, but I think we're gonna start wrapping up. Gonna call it pretty soon. Hope everyone had a good time. It was super cool to see all the new people. Oh shit, it's the guy. How are you doing? I got no username. I saw you were, like, unlisting some of your old vids, but I don't know what that's about. Anyway, yeah, the songs are songing. Really sound good, bro. I am wrapping up, unfortunately. 1.5. Okay, gotcha. Alright, well, have a good one, Nold. Have a good one, Tim. And have a good one, everybody.